Why not? Let's go.
Good morning, Monday, December 7th, 2015, and welcome to Why Not episode 29. It is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, and Taylor and I were just talking about it, and Taylor said something quite astute. She said, "Isn't it amazing how this day that would live in infamy may not seem that it does live in infamy?" So, quick thought for today. Pearl Harbor was very real. The wars that our nation has fought were very real. People have made incredible sacrifices for us, and sometimes in this world of instant gratification, incredible amounts of information overload, sometimes the things that actually have happened can almost seem like they're just legendary and a story from the past. And sometimes when we're facing our challenges that are incredibly challenging in the moment, I'm not minimizing our genuine emotional responses to things, but somebody disappoints us, we don't get the result that we want in a business deal, our kids are upsetting us, or we're upsetting our kids. Sometimes our focus can just shift to these things and magnify them. Let's just think about the fact that we live in a free nation that was attacked and how different the world could be. And I think, Taylor, what channel is it on? There's a new show on if the Germans had won World War II. The Nazis.
Oh, it's on Amazon Prime, and it's called The Man in the High Castle.
Right, The Man in the High Castle. And just think about that for a second. Check that out and see what our life would be like if things went differently with the greatest generation doing something different during World War II. And sometimes people go, okay, I know. Other people have bigger problems. They walked uphill in the snow. But sometimes shifting that and really feeling those feelings of gratitude and amazement about the freedom we have the relatively minimal problems that we do have that sometimes seem very large, not minimizing that, but how minimal in fact they are in comparison to the day our nation was attacked by the Japanese in World War II, by thinking of the things that we did all around the world during World War II and the Greatest Generation and the wars that have followed, including things that we're battling right now overseas with ISIS and terrorist plots and things that are currently going on that for us seem real for a second, but there are people who are living that every second of every day, fighting right now as we think about the relatively minor challenges and irritations that we have on getting up on a Monday morning. So welcome to Monday morning, Momentum Monday on Why Not. And for today, very briefly, I want to discuss the holes that can be in our bucket in terms of our results and our outcome in zone action steps, right? So it's zone action holes that we want to plug for today. And really quickly, because I use this language, but sometimes it really helps to have illustrations and examples. So let's say that you're interested in growing your business at some level, and you're in a situation where you're a professional, or you're not a professional, and you just want to have more business meetings. And we've recently opened the Callagy Law, which I'll make a more significant announcement soon publicly. But we've opened a family law department, and we have 2 new family law partners coming in that have done an amazing and fantastic job. So let's say these 2 gentlemen come in, and the idea for us is to continue to grow our family law practice or your business practice in some way. And there's a great opportunity, obviously, in growing a family law practice in dealing, let's say, with people who encounter people that are going through family law challenges, disputes in custody, unfortunate divorce situations, God forbid, domestic violence scenarios, or happily getting married and have to deal with some prenup type issues that may be complicated or not so complicated. So the first question, if you're going to build something and talk about being in zone action, right, is who do we want to be talking to? Now let's distinguish this from the idea, and again, apply this to yourself no matter what your business scenario is. You want to be thinking about who do I want to be meeting and talking to? And other people may say, hey, you know what is a great idea for building your business? Let's just go generally network out there in the world. So let's compare an idea of generally networking with somebody who's going to go in a very targeted, specific way to meet people who might be interacting with really strong potential clients, right? So let's go to the general networker. This is a zone action comparison. The general networker goes out and says, I'm going to spend 5 hours a week in business development, 5 hours a week. And I'm going to just find networking functions. I'm going to go to my Chamber of Commerce meeting. I'm going to join a general networking meeting. And I'm going to tell people that I'm looking to meet people who have family law challenges, right? And let's say in 5 hours, you might be able to go to 3 meetings, right? Because about, travel time, attending a meeting, and you're going to your Chamber of Commerce meeting, you're going to a bar function, literal lawyer function, you're going to some accounting convention, and you're doing these different things, right? 5 hours a week, so you spend 250 hours at the end of the year, right? Now the question becomes, how many meetings have I created at the end of 250 hours spent with people who could potentially refer me family law clients? That's the question, right? Because that's what you want. You want actual clients, but before that, you'd love to create specific referral sources. And now you may say, wait a minute, if I'm going out generally networking, I might meet people who have a specific family law need. True, right? But how many people that you actually randomly meet in 3 meetings per week, handing out business cards and saying hello to people, which is something that people will tell you is an effective strategy for targeted building, for a targeted strategy for building a business, which I'll tell you is not. And it's not because, double negative, it can't help you. It's because there's a more optimal way to help you. So let's say that 250 times, 3 meetings a week, 50 weeks you do this, so it's 150 meetings that you've attended. How many people are you going to meet specifically that may refer you family law clients? I'll be incredibly generous, and I will say at the end of 150 meetings, 150, that 1 out of 5 times you meet somebody who may refer you to somebody who could refer you to family law clients. 1 out of 5 times may refer you to someone who could refer you to family law clients. So at the end of the year, you've gotten phone numbers for 30, right? 1 out of 5 times 150, 30 people who you might potentially meet with. Now you have to go to scheduled meetings. Let's say half of those people meet with you. Now you have 15. So you have 15 meetings with people, let's say they're financial planners, accountants, or counselors, who could potentially refer you to family law clients. You have 15 meetings by spending 150 hours to get to your 15 meetings. 1. Now let's say also, wait a minute, some people I meet might actually know someone or have a family law challenge. Okay, and they're going to refer them to you from a random meeting in some networking function. I'll be generous, and I'll go the same 15. So you got 15 actual referrals from meetings with people who had potential family law needs, and 15 meetings with people who had potential ability to refer you family law situations on the random side. And I will tell you, and I will bet you, those numbers are extraordinarily high. Now let's go the other way. Let's say that all you did, right, is attempt to schedule 3 meetings a week with counselors that deal with family law people. How to do it, we'll talk about later, because it's far easier than you would ever think. And we'll talk about that in our communication day, right? We'll talk about that later. But let's say that you were able to actually do this, which I promise you can, and you had 150 meetings with potential counselors by the end of the year, some of whom would be repeat meetings. So let's say you only had 100 new meetings and 50 follow-up meetings. We're talking 100 meetings with people who could potentially refer to you. And let's go conservatively and say 1 out of 10 becomes a loyal referral source because they love your unique identity, they think very strongly of you. And at the end of 1 year now, you have 10 strong referral sources of people who regularly meet with people with family law challenges, 10, versus on this side, you have 15 meetings, and let's say the same 1 out of 10 applies, you have 1.5 referral sources. 10 versus 1.5. What does that mean? Let's say in year 2, those 10 people all refer you simply and only 3 cases during the entire year. 3 cases. Well, now you have 30 cases referred to you on an ongoing stream versus the 1.5, 4.5 cases. And those 30 will refer additional far faster than these 1.5. These numbers work. It is zone action. Whatever you're trying to do, if you're in zone action thinking about the most efficient way to get there and block scheduling, the numbers after 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years are mind-blowing and staggering. They're the difference between you having a business where you're making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, $1 million a year, and you having a business that you go, you know what, this business just doesn't work. And whether it's running a law firm, whether it's an accounting practice, whether you're selling cars, whether you're selling widgets, whether you're in network marketing, whatever you're doing, these numbers work. Now, if you're not having the results you want during these meetings in terms of people going along and saying, yes, I'd love to refer to you, I get your unique identity, that's a conversation for a different day that goes to your skill in executing these meetings and the ability to effectively present the greatness inside of you. So it's Momentum Monday. Block your time. Think of the most efficient action step there. If you're in any phase of business development, go focus your business development efforts in a massive way. And by the way, let's not forget Pearl Harbor, what happened December 7th, 1941. Have an amazing day. Live with gratitude. Why not? Thanks. I'm Sean Callagy.